Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Black Ops 6 Season 3, the season that they delayed to make sure it was ready. And here today I'm going to be reviewing and giving my first impressions of everything that this season has to offer. Well, like I just mentioned, they delayed this season, which is something we rarely ever see here within the Call of Duty franchise. They delayed it because they wanted to make sure it was ready. So did they accomplish their goal? Well, hell no they didn't, man. Of course they did not, because we're talking about the COD franchise here. The biggest part is the Season 3 update itself wouldn't even go through. There was something they called a major outage happening in the Call of Duty, which meant that players weren't even able to install or download the Season 3 update. About 2 hours after the update went through, I was finally able to get the game working, but I was one of the lucky ones and it took a lot longer for a bunch of people. Once I did get into the game, however, I went to Warzone to of course unlock the new Kilo assault rifle, but even that was bugged out because for an hour and a half after Season 3 came out, the Kilo simply would not unlock for players. Like, you'd get the notification saying you had the gun, but the gun itself couldn't be equipped, and it took like an hour and a half for Activision to finally get that fixed. On top of that, the store wasn't even working right. Like, typically that's the one thing about COD that always works flawlessly, but fans weren't even able to buy the battle pass for quite some time. And again, all of this comes in an update that they freaking delayed, man. Like, let's not forget here, they delayed Season 3 in an effort to make sure everything goes off perfectly, because they only get one chance at a first impression for all the fans that they're hoping to win back, and at the very least, when it comes to the multiplayer, they completely missed that mark. Now, you guys might be thinking to yourselves, maybe the season's had so many issues so far because so many people are downloading and playing the game at once that it's overloading the servers and things are going crazy. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case either, because this screenshot right here was taken at 8 p.m. on Monday, just a couple of days ago, 2 days before Season 3, in fact. Well, this screenshot right here is from 8 p.m. tonight, 8 hours after Season 3 went live, and there are only 3,000 more concurrent players actively playing right now compared to a couple of days ago. When it comes to the 30-day trend, the numbers are still going down despite Season 3 being out for multiplayer and zombies, and if that doesn't just say it all, ladies and gentlemen, like, the update was plagued with problems. Treyarch and Activision didn't even care enough about the season to put out a freaking trailer, for crying out loud. They literally released the multiplayer map trailer an hour after the season went live. It's like they straight up forgot about it, right? Like, there's virtually no build-up, there was no hype. All they cared about was pushing Warzone and pushing Verdansk, and after playing Season 3's multiplayer for a few hours today, I think I completely understand why they did this. Ladies and gentlemen, what the fuck are these new maps here? I've mostly been showing firing range footage up until this point because it's the only good map that was added, and it's a 15-year-old map design. They've had firing range in literally every Black Ops game except for Cold War, and while it's nice to have a good map be added to the game, it's still the same map that a lot of us have been playing for what feels like half a lifetime. The other two maps that they released are completely abysmal to me personally, and I think that's because of their initial design philosophy. A while back I made a video discussing the problem with the launch maps that we had here in Black Ops 6, and in there I marked the differences in design between the maps that we have here in this game and the maps that we found back in the original Black Ops. My conclusion was modern day maps are more or less designed to be manipulative player funnels. The idea of the traditional 3-lane multiplayer map that is designed with proper flow and control in mind appear to just be completely gone from the franchise. Maps are now designed to be misleadingly chaotic, and I say misleadingly because it's all very intentional. Let's take a look at Barrage here, for example. On the surface, this map looks pretty good, right? It's set in 1968 Vietnam, and it has a bit of that Black Ops charm to it with its appearance, but in practice, this is nothing more than like Infinity Ward style slop. The map itself is one giant rounded death funnel. That's essentially what it is. There are no distinct lanes or paths, everything interjects and forms together in a circular mess of chaos, and that's exactly what the developers wanted. For all intents and purposes, Barrage is like a larger version of Shipment. It might as well be played in Face-Off, for crying out loud, but let's go ahead and take a look at the minimap here. There is nothing that we see that signifies this map is 3 lanes, because like a lot of the launch maps that came with the game, there are countless ways in and out of every location, and none of them are structured. Note that most of the quote-unquote cover on the map are rounded rocks, rounded pathways, and buildings with a minimum of 3 ways in and 3 ways out of them. What this causes is circulated chaos, and what's crazy is it literally ties into this fucking meme from 2011 when Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer Games started designing maps in weird ways during the original Modern Warfare 3. Keep in mind, I did not make this meme. This is an old meme from 2011, and when you combine this sort of ant farm style map design with Omni movement and then sprinkle in a bit of skill-based matchmaking, the end result is a complete nightmare. nightmare. I can't even tell you guys the amount of Diamond and Crimson players I had to play against today. One of them was even like level 800 or something like that, and he was openly reverse boosting in the lobby because even he was tired of the thick skill-based matchmaking that was going on. That really just goes to show how fundamentally broken the matchmaking experience is, but even then, if our lobbies weren't so manipulated, then subpar map design could be overlooked. That old meme I showed you from back in the day brings up an incredibly good point, but people still look back on Modern Warfare 3 pretty fondly. Well, why is that, right? I think in particular, the meme was based on the map Village, but do any of you genuinely remember hating that map? Did any of you have like a really bad experience on Village, or do most of you think of it as a pretty solid map from Modern Warfare 3? Well, I don't think it's rose-tinted glasses. I think it genuinely comes down to how the matchmaking system manipulates and warps our entire experience. In Modern Warfare 3, we were having fun. We weren't being punished for being good. Players would use a wide variety of guns and there'd be varied playstyles. It was old school, authentic, uncorrupted, and unmanipulated Call of Duty. That's what it came down to, right? And you know, when you look at a map like Village, so what if the map wasn't an instant classic? No one bats 1,000, right? And so what if the map is a bit wonky and people are constantly running in circles? At least the core game is fun, right? That is the mindset that we used to have here in the COD series, but with skill-based matchmaking, all of that is thrown out the window because every single issue with each multiplayer map is now exacerbated 1,000 times over because you have to deal with those design flaws while also playing in CDL lobbies like there's money on the line. In my own personal opinion, Barrage is hot garbage so far. That's my initial review, that's my initial impression of the map, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think down there in the comments, but let's go ahead and talk about Nomad next because Nomad is really just more of the same. Now, I will say going into this, I never expected Nomad to be a good map because it's designed for face-off, right? It's not designed for core, normal, traditional 6v6 multiplayer. That being said, however, Nomad is a completely brown, washed out, ugly-looking bunch of rocks in a desert, and it was intended for people to get kills and die constantly, and that's exactly what it does. Looking at the minimap here, it sort of looks like it might be 3 lanes, kind of, until you realize that bottom lane there in the middle just blur together, and the middle of the map itself is a complete no man's land with no less than 6 head glitches on either side of the map for somebody to shoot you from. Just like Barrage, there is no semblance of flow or control. It's just weaponized chaos designed by the devs to funnel people together. Being prepared for any kind of engagement on this map is nearly impossible because as soon as you turn a corner, there might be somebody butt sliding towards you while somebody else is sitting on one of the 6 head glitches waiting to take you out as soon as you turn the corner. If you try to sit back on this map, they're just going to spawn behind you because it is a face-off map at the end of the day. If you rush, you're going to get clipped by somebody sitting in the windows, and don't worry, every single match will somehow still, despite all of this, go to time limit because even though the map is pretty tiny, I didn't have a single game on it today where there were enough tags that were actually confirmed for the game to end. Every single match went to time limit, which was freaking mind-boggling. And I understand that a lot of people like face-off because of its instant gratification, but in terms of being a good standard multiplayer map with proper design, Nomad is as far from that as humanly possible, and that's pretty much it, I suppose, for the Season 3 multiplayer. We do have the new guns, the Kilo, which you've been watching throughout the majority of this video. That gun came out, it is there for free, it's finally working and everything, and everybody's pretty much using it. It's to be expected, right? It's a gun coming back from Modern Warfare 2019, it's a pretty solid assault rifle, it feels good to use, it really does. But then you have the Grau conversion kit, you have the AMAX, you have the HDR sniper rifle. Well, those are part of the battle pass, and they take a shit ton of time to unlock, unless of course you just buy your way through the battle pass like I saw a lot of people doing today. I will say the battle pass is, in general, a lot more Black Ops themed this time around, but without spending any money, which I won't, I cannot definitively speak on the new weapons because I don't have access to them as of right now. I will say that the new crossplay features are available, but the time it takes to find matches has been pretty rough for me personally. By disabling PC players from joining my lobbies, it takes noticeably longer for me to find a match, but the thing is, Call of Duty always takes forever to find a match because the algorithm has to stick its disgusting fingers into every aspect of our online experience, and then when I turned crossplay completely off, which meant I would only play with people on my particular console, well, I couldn't find a match whatsoever. Like, it was really freaking bad. So it will be interesting to see how this is going to affect the PC player base within the coming days. I'm sure right away not everybody disabled crossplay or started tuning their crossplay settings. Most people just hopped on and probably didn't check their settings whatsoever, so more and more people eventually are going to start messing with their crossplay settings and everything. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out over the course of the coming week. But with multiplayer pretty much out of the way, and without getting too into it or spending an extra 10 minutes here in this video, I would also like to point out that the new Zombies map is available. It's called Shattered Veil, and so far it's a huge glow up from what we had with the Tomb. And I don't know about about you guys, but the Tomb just was not a fun zombies map for me personally. It was essentially just like one giant circle. All the areas kind of looked the same. Even the Dark Aether area was a huge letdown, especially with that horrendous looking sky. Just in general, the Tomb was a rushed map, and it certainly showed. Like, Activision forced Rare to push that map out because of the bleeding player base, and the map certainly suffered as a result. But with Shattered Veil, it looks like they had time to properly design the map and work on the theme, and I'm really happy about that. My initial first impressions so far are it seems to be a return to form for zombies here within Black Ops 6, more akin to something like Liberty Falls, Terminus, or even Citadel as compared to the Tomb, and I think that's a really good thing. I haven't started the Easter egg yet, obviously, or anything like that. I've just been running through the map, kind of unlocking all the doors and exploring, and it does appear to be a solid zombies map, but as always, time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. But for right now, I think it's about time I wrap up this video here today, because amidst all the bugs and problems with the initial launch of the update, Season 3 so far doesn't appear to be moving the needle for Activision really at all, and I think they sort of expected that. They've made it abundantly clear over the course of the past couple of weeks that Warzone is all they really care about, so tomorrow is going to be a really interesting day. Will Verdansk bring players back to the game? Will the update actually work? How many bugs and glitches are going to break the game on day one? And will the hackers and cheaters be running rampant? There are so many questions, and tomorrow we're going to be getting all of the answers. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, so stay tuned for tomorrow's video where we cover all the happenings here within the Call of Duty franchise. But for right now, I'm just going to wrap up this video here today, giving my first impressions of the Season 3 update here for Black Ops 6. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback on multiplayer as well as zombies down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening and for your continued support of my channel, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.